What up, world? This is the GoalNet recording here from live outside of Chicago. And today I'm here to talk golf again. If you're a hockey person, skip. Maybe if golf takes off, we'll start a new channel. But for the moment, just on a bit of a golf bender. Really respect the other content that other creators are putting out in the market and wanted to sort of pay it forward. I've tried some stuff that I don't think there's a ton of content on out there in the market. So I thought I'd share my thoughts with you and hopefully help somebody else out here in the future. So as you can probably guess, with all these nice shiny gray boxes, we are here to talk about Garmin. But I think what's a little bit unique and what I wanted to talk about is the whole Garmin ecosystem, not one individual product, although I might give you a 30-second hit on those as we go through them. But Garmin offers something wicked unique. For some people, it's going to be an absolute home run. For other people, maybe it's not going to work as well as we'd like, or it could even be a bit of unfulfilled potential where if Garmin could get their act together, it could be like a show-stopping home run ecosystem. So let's go a layer deeper now. Garmin has something called the Garmin Golf app. It is one single app which manages all of their, let's call them IoT or sports technology devices for the golf industry. So right here, we have the Z82 rangefinder. We have the Approach G12 GPS clip. We have the Approach CT10 club trackers, and we have the Garmin R10 rangefinder. Each one of these products is solid. And I would actually say if you were to do like a 1 through 10 ranking, or, in the case of the club trackers, there might only be 2 or 3 players. All of these products might be second best in the market in their category. So if you're going to go buy one individual product, it might be tough to recommend it. Like for example, in the rangefinder, the Garmin Z82 is going to win on features. But I think if most people want to buy that top of the line rangefinder, the Bushnell Pro X3 is probably the one you're going to go with. I have that rangefinder. I could potentially do content on that. Throw a comment down below if we start to do more golf videos, if that's something you'd like to see. Same thing with the Garmin R10 rangefinder. Depending on what you're looking for in a rangefinder and depending on exactly what your price point is, it might run second to like the new MLM2 Pro, potentially the pending Voice Caddy 4. That's a little bit unfair because the Garmin's already been on the market for 2 years. But even when it was launched, if you wanted to spend $500 and wanted purely the most accurate launch monitor you could get at that price point, the Rapsodo Launch Monitor 1 would have beat it in accuracy. But again, like I mentioned with the rangefinder, Garmin packs a lot more features in. And so it gave you the app, which allowed you to connect to a projector, which allows you to do a very low-cost budget home simulator. And it also gave you some additional data points like spin, which I think is extremely important to anybody trying to improve their game, which the Rapsodo original did not. So 2 great examples. Same thing when it comes to the CT10. They probably run second to Arcos, but the fact that they connect to all these other devices is a home run. And then when it comes to the clip GPS, Garmin might be the best in the market at that. That's not an area I'm as versed in. I only got the belt clip to try the CT10 club sensors. So that preamble, just sort of highlighting all these devices are good. They might even be great, but they're not the best. But when you combine them all together, that's when Garmin gets really interesting. So when I mentioned things get interesting, this is the Garmin app. Just showing this to you on my iPad. As you can see, it doesn't fit the full screen resolution, and I'm not tech savvy enough, unfortunately, to probably walk you through this in depth and cut it into the video. But I'll show you a couple things at a high level. So in the single app, you can see your clubs. You can actually find my gear. which is pretty cool. So if you like dropped a club sensor or a rangefinder, you can do that. So that's the Garmin devices. But if we click on my bag, you can have a whole list of clubs. And as you can see, I was comparing like a T100S to a T200 5-iron. And some of this is reset, not sure why, but can track all of your data from the Approach CT10. But then the cool thing is if you go to the golf sim sessions, you can see you actually carry your clubs over, and you can see all of the data, you know, between those two clubs. So here you can see I was just doing some preliminary testing with a 4-iron and a 5-iron, you know, and there's the data from the range session. So what's cool is you build your clubs one time in my bag, and then the one set of clubs carries across 2 different apps. So I personally think that's super slick. Where I think it's absolutely disappointing, and as I mentioned, like I got all this stuff, as you can see, this is all stuff which I bought. None of it was sent, like a lot of the hockey equipment, to demo. This is all stuff I went out and acquired myself. It doesn't talk as well as it could. It's sort of like there's this one app loosely connecting a whole bunch of separate business units, but the business units aren't talking together. So for me, if I'm using the R10 a lot in practicing, and we know, like I showed you on the other screen, that I'm hitting my T200 4-iron, if I hit 1,000 shots with that, even if it's indoors or outdoors at a range, that to me is more reliable data than the club tracking system, because the club tracking system is just going to look from where you hit your last shot to where you hit your next. It has no idea how high the ball traveled, how far it carries, how much stopping power it had, versus when you're hitting the Garmin indoors or even at the range, the balls are different discussion. Indoors, you need the RCT balls from Titleist, which works great. Obviously, that's not the same launch conditions as outside. But anyway, getting back to my point, you have better data from the R10, and it doesn't carry it over to this. So it just shows you the CT10. So on one level, it's great that you can build your golf bag and then across different Garmin products, keep your same set of clubs tagged. But what sucks is it doesn't merge the data. So where's my point? You know, there are some club recommendation features in the GPS unit and in the CT10 club tracker, and probably even on the GPS belt clip. So, okay, I'm 200 yards away. Well, if I have a GPS unit in my rangefinder or in my belt clip, that GPS unit knows, you know, if I'm hitting the ball 200 yards, am I carrying water? And so if I'm using the CT10 data, it's just going to know my average club distance is 200. But if the ball rolls 195 and then, or flies 195 and then rolls out 10 yards, that gets me 205. It looks like it should be fine for that 200-yard shot over water, say to a front pin, where I can't be short and maybe I don't want to be long. It doesn't understand how far the ball carries. So it might tell me to hit a 5-iron when I really want to hit a 4-iron. And if the R10 data was married into this bag data, which then transferred out to the GPS enabled rangefinder or the belt clip with the club trackers, hopefully I'm making this point well, but you have a wealth of data if you're an R10 user, which isn't being sent out to the products on the golf course. And it seems like an unbelievable miss by Garmin. So on some level, it's super cool that all these products talk to each other, and I can track all of my session stats in this app. You know, all these sort of things you can go through here and hit on this app. But the disappointing thing is that they just don't take it to the fullest. And if you own, say, the belt clip and the CT10 club sensors, okay, this works the way it works, and that makes sense. But then if you add the R10 on, it should go there. Or for me, you start with the R10 and you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm going to go out and get the club sensors. And then you realize that the data doesn't transfer over. So, you know, for me, like I say, cool concept, but misses the boat. The other great thing, though, again, where I mention this is the Garmin Golf app down here. And this is another place that Garmin gets it right. And so why I say they get this right is that you can spend one annual subscription. It's $10 a month, or I believe $99 a year. But what that subscription gives you is, if we go to the golf sim, it gives you the Home Tee Hero, which is a bunch of courses that are real courses, like 40,000 courses. But the only thing that's missing is the topography. So the courses are completely flat, so you don't really see on the screen that you're hitting up a hill. But at the same point, for no extra money through Garmin, you get access to 40,000 courses. So that's super cool. And then you get green reading. So in the laser GPS unit here, when you look through the window, this will actually show you the green. And if you pay for this $100 annual subscription, in your GPS finder, you will see a heat map of the green to know where a hill is, or a valley, or any undulation on the green. And that also carries over to here, or if you have one of the higher end Garmin watches with like the nicer color screen, that becomes even more powerful. So again, this is where I say I have a ton of appreciation for what Garmin's done, but then it's also just a painful, like, you didn't go that nth degree. So if I'm paying $99 a year and I have all these devices, it's awesome, because you could pay $99 a year if I'm just a rangefinder owner or just a GPS owner to get that 3D green heat map feature. Or if I'm a Garmin R10 user, I could pay that $100 a year just to get access to those 40,000 courses. However, if I pay the subscription here, it carries over here. So between building your bag once and having it carry across multiple apps, super cool. Being able to look at everything in one app, not having like a dedicated R10 app or a dedicated GPS app. Great idea by Garmin, super cool there. So that one subscription carries over, great content there, because if you're an Arcos user, you're paying $100 a year and it doesn't help you get 40,000 courses with a launch monitor. So it's this sort of love-hate affair where if you are looking to buy all of the Garmin products and you want to pay one annual subscription and you are going to take advantage of the 40,000 courses in the R10, or you're going to take advantage of the green reading on here or here, and the club tracking technology, it's a home run. Go all in on the Garmin ecosystem and just be happy that you are getting that one subscription carrying it all out. However, if you are truly looking for the best of breed product and you're only going to use the R10, you might want to wait another month and get that MLM2 Pro, or wait to see what shakes out with the Voice Caddy, because the Garmin is great. The price has come down $100, which still I think makes it the cheapest. So in some regards, this thing does absolutely kick ass. But if you're willing to spend an extra $100 or so more, there are units that might better be able to track your shot shape per se indoors. And shot shape is probably the number one area the R10 has disappointed me on. But the ability to very inexpensively play sim golf in my garage with the free E6 courses included, and I can practice and get something I reasonably trust is a home run, with using this indoors. But to my point, if you want all the Garmin stuff, there's a ton of value in it. They did a phenomenal job creating a lot of different things that use one app for ease of use, one cost with an annual subscription, where I think each one of those subscriptions is reasonable. Like, I think spending $100 a year for updated green mapping is reasonable, or spending $100 a year on the Garmin courses is reasonable in the R10. But the fact you get both of them for one price is phenomenal value to a consumer. But if you are looking for the best rangefinder or the best launch monitor, like I say, these may come in second or third, depending on how you're judging it. If you purely want the cheapest, this could be the best. You purely want the most high tech, this could be the best. You plug them all in together, that's where the value comes. But at the end of the day, for me, buying all these devices does get to be quite expensive. And already having a Bushnell Pro X3 like that a little bit better, because it doesn't have to be plugged in via USB. You can just use a standard battery. And I play the same course 80% of the time, so I sort of know the carry distances, or, I have the iPhone with me that has the Bushnell app. If I ever need to see a carry distance over water, I just pull my phone out. versus this screen can get a lot of data where it can almost overwhelm you. But if you're playing different courses every week, this is super easy because you don't, pulling your phone out once or twice around makes sense. But if every hole you need to know to carry the water, to carry the bunker, etc., you don't know the greens, this thing's going to be a home run. So that's where I say could be the best depending on your criteria, not for me. So that's where I say I have this love-hate relationship with the Garmin ecosystem. So thanks for checking this video out. If you're a golfer and new to me, I'm primarily a hockey equipment reviewer, have over 30,000 followers on Instagram. Just based off the follows and such, do a pretty reputable job. So hopefully anybody checking this out for the first time comes to maybe appreciate the way I do things and my honest sort of voice, always trying to come at things through the perspective of the consumer, likes the golf reviews. So if you want to see a specific review on any of these products down below, please throw a comment down below, or maybe comparing the Z82 to the Bushnell Pro X3. I've seen that might be a cool video. Let me know. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, went out, got a lot of devices, thought it was very interesting information to share. Some people have mentioned the connectivity between them when comparing like the CT10 to Arcos, but I don't think anybody's really explained yet how everything works together, where it does it well and where it comes up short. And again, the 2 bullet point review I probably could have started with. Thanks to anybody who's made it this far in the video. The highs of this is all the units do talk together through one software app, ease of use, one subscription model. And the other cool thing too, I should mention this, is if you just want to use the app and all these devices, you can also use them without paying $1, and you'll still get like that one set of clubs in your bag, one app to go to. Like right now I have 10 golf apps on my phone. That is a little annoying. And I was paying for it. I'm not any longer because I don't see the value. That's probably why some of that stuff was stripped in. But if you want to use the R10 without paying $1 in subscription, you get free courses through E6 and a free range through Garmin, so you don't need to pay any money. And if you're good using the Z82 or using the Approach G12 and you don't need the 3D heat maps of the greens, then that's free as well. So I should mention that. So ease of use, 10 out of 10 for Garmin. Everything I've used connects to your phone super easily, connects to the app super easily. And everything is where it should be for data. If you want to pay, there's a ton of value in the app because it adds benefits to each of their individual products. If you don't want to pay, that's cool too. It still works. Where Garmin misses is, like I'm an Apple HomeKit user. I have a ton of smart products in my house. I will only buy the Apple because I want one native app. And like I open up my Apple HomeKit app and I can see an indoor monitor, my doorbell, if my garage door, if my front door is open. And even though these are all hardware from different suppliers, it's that Apple ecosystem that connects them and they all sort of talk to each other. And I have a makeshift security system in my house and I'm bad at IT. So I think that's an absolute home run and super cool. And I'm sure it's the same if you use the Alexa system or like Google's Nest. If Garmin would just go one step further and let everything talk to each other, it would be such a home run. Get that R10 data out into the Approach G12 or your Z82 and you're looking at club recommendations, or maybe the data from your C82 where it gives you the things to work on. Maybe a pop-up opens up in the Garmin golf range and says like, hey, your long irons stink. Why don't you practice your 4-iron today, bud? Like something like that would be killer. So that's my first golf hardware review. Other one we did was sort of a Mod Monday vibe with the bag. So lots to like about the Garmin in terms of the connectivity, ease of use, value to the consumer. Lots to be frustrated about where they only went 6 steps out of 10. And if they went those extra 4 steps further, I feel like they absolutely and utterly could have completely revolutionized the golf industry. Knowing I don't review a lot of golf products, Garmin probably won't see this the way that the big hockey OEMs check out my reviews. And I like to think my voice is heard in terms of products getting updated in future iterations. If Garmin happens to watch this, please, please, please make your devices talk to each other. And one other recommendation, this would kind of compete with the Arcos Link. goes on your belt buckle, and it provides a GPS screen. So I think this is super cool versus wearing that Arcos Link. If you want to do your shot tracking, that way is kind of annoying. The fact you're getting a GPS screen with this is an absolute home run compared to the Arcos Link, if that's how you're going to do your shot tracking. But at some point, if I already have the GPS rangefinder and this has a GPS on it and it's going to be within a yard or two of me, whether it's in my golf bag, it's physically on me standing in the fairway, and then I put it down on the ground to hit my shot and walk back to the cart, or it's in the golf cart, I think Garmin should also make a way to have the CT10 club trackers. They're in my club, so just have the box here as representation. But, you know, it'd be awesome if these two things could talk to each other without necessarily needing the standalone GPS as well. So that'd be one other product feedback I'd love to give to Garmin. Thanks again for tuning in. Let me know how you like first crack at a golf video down below. If any of these devices require further review, also throw those down below and I will consider cranking that out. It's just the start of golf season. Hockey's going to be over in a couple months. Obviously, we have new products coming out, but you know, maybe in July it might be interesting to talk some more golf stuff. So let me know if you're liking these. This is the GoalNet signing out.